What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Winning Move podcast. This is our weekly market update with Michael Zuber. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. But first, before you guys do anything else, please go subscribe, give us a 5-star review. And if you guys are looking for any type of outsourced staffing, virtual assistants, please go to callmagicians.com. All right, Mike, let's dive into this real quick. Absolutely. I want to get a market update from you. I try and watch these things every day. Sometimes I get busy. Has there been a massive shift? And what do you think are the 5 biggest things that have happened in the last week as far as the markets go?
Well, first off, when we talk about the markets, we're going to talk about stocks, crypto, real estate, all of that. And we can go into finer details later. The biggest thing today is something we have to watch out for. We got to be careful of. I don't like talking anything that gets political or anything of that nature. But today, the FDA put a hold on the J&J vaccine. Apparently, there's been 6 million jabs. 6 individuals, ladies, and I believe all are ladies in this case, have developed a severe blood clotting issue. I do not pretend to be a scientist nor a doctor. I just read a lot of information. And for me, this really means the consumer psyche could change, right? I have been following the consumer for 30 years. I have been trying to figure out where the consumer is going. I've been telling you for weeks now, we are on the edge of the dark period, entering the light. News like this could, and I'm not saying it will, it's 8 hours old, could pull us back because unfortunately, social media is going to do what it does. People that are on one side of the fence or the other are going to spin it up, and we'll see what happens.
Yep.
So not good. It's definitely not good news, right? Even if it goes back on the market in a week with a warning label or different criteria, the trust and faith the trust and faith, and I look at it as, well, hey, there were 6 issues. Our system worked, right? The FDA, who we entrust to tell us what's good and bad, said, hey, time out. So the system is working. It's not like they hid the data. It's not like, hey, 6 out of 6 million is insignificant. Don't worry. But again, everybody, it's America, man. Make your own choice. If you weren't going to do it before, you were certainly not going to do it now. If you were going to do it, you got to ask questions. So again, I'm worried about the consumer. It was not a good day reading that today because again, I was so excited by what's coming. We'll see what happens over the next 5 to 7 days because it could be market moving. So that's number one. We have to see what happens to consumer psychology. I don't know. It's a risk, right? Number 2, what you would expect to happen is likely happening today. So again, we were moving forward, all things good. But again, you get this little pause. So you're probably going to sell airlines. You're going to sell cruise lines. You're going to sell hotels. And the hot money, where are they going to go? They're going to go buy Tesla, right? I mean, it's this sort of risk on, risk off trade is just going to reverse, in my opinion. So that's step number 1. I wish it didn't happen. It's not what you want to hear. Number 2, most important. This should have been what we talk about today. Unfortunately, the J&J news trumped it, which is so unfortunate, is inflation. So we got to talk about 2 things. Friday, there's something called the Producer Price Index, PPI. It came out with the second highest reading ever. From memory, it was at 4.6%. Producer Price Index is important because that's essentially what manufacturers are paying for input costs, right? So that's kind of the early part of the cycle. What we got today, what I've been talking about for 4 or 5 days is the most important number of the week, was Consumer Price Index, called CPI. So CPI came in a little hot. It came in at 2.6 year on year. They were expecting 2.5. The whisper number, if you believe in whisper number, was 2.8. So we came in a little bit below kind of the high water mark.
What do you mean by whisper number? Is that what people were thinking it was going to be?
There's always like a published number, and then there's one that they tell each other on the side, right? Oh, we think it's going to be this. We're going to publish this, so our name is attached to it. But you know what? We think things are a little hotter than they really are. So a lot of times you'll hear a whisper number with earnings, right? We're going to say we make 12 cents a share, but the whisper number is 15. It's just what people are talking. You really get the indication. Are they bullish or bearish? If the whisper number is above or below what they're publishing. And what you've seen with inflation is people are above it, which means they think at some point it's going to run hot or super hot. I think next month CPI will be in the high threes, could be in the low fours. And that's going to get your attention, right?
And so what does that mean?
The Fed likes to talk about 2%. We want to get 2%. We've been struggling at 1.3, 1.4. We can't get inflation, right? Some inflation is good. It helps you pay down, debt with cheaper dollars. And the Fed is clearly trying to goose it. The Fed wants to get above 2. It wants the economy to run hot. And I think they're going to get it sooner than they want. I think inflation starting next month is above 3, could go above 4. And that's going to be ramifications going forward, right? The higher that is and the longer it runs, the sooner the Fed raises interest rates from 0. That's as a real estate investor, as a crypto investor, as a stock market investor, if you could know with certainty when the Fed is going to reverse their easy money policy, you can make a lot of money. It's just not known, right? They have these dot plots and all these other things. So that's why lots of people, myself included, try to figure out where the Fed is going, because I make millions of dollars in decisions on loans all the time. And if I need to do it earlier, right? Because cheaper money's better, hint,
always,
as a landlord, right? It's cheaper money's better. All right. If I think it's going to run hot, I probably pull forward investments. So yeah, man, lots of stuff going on. What else is going on? I think that's it. I guess the last thing to talk about is inventory. Inventory is still record lows, right around 1 million units available. Normal market's 3.3, nationally speaking. I do believe as we enter the second half, that's going to reverse. It's going to surprise a lot of people. I think we're going to go from like 1 million to 2 million homes on the market, which again, I see as good news. I think it gives investors choices. But all these entertainers on YouTube are going to go, oh my God, housing exploded. Inventory's up 100%. And they're going to get clicks by scaring people. Where in reality, last time I checked, 2 million is still 33% below 3 million. So we're nowhere near a balanced market. We will still be in a hyper seller's market. We will just have more options. So there's always so much going on every week in the markets. And of course, lastly, on crypto, just to talk about it, Coinbase goes public tomorrow, probably 100 billion valuation. The question to ask, is it validation that crypto is real, or is this validation that's the peak of the market? Depending on where you are with crypto, you have an opinion. So that's my wrap up of things going on.
What do you think? I think crypto is here to stay. I think crypto is the future, 100%. I have no faith in the US dollar.
I have a little bit more than no faith. I have some faith. I think fiat is going to be what most people use to buy stuff. See, I don't see crypto. So your questions. I think crypto is here to stay. Oh, yeah. I think more than half of the altcoins are garbage, but I'm not smart enough to know which ones, right? I don't play there, right? I'm a real estate investor. I look at real estate every day. I'm smart enough to know that, just in case I should move 1% of my net worth, which I did last year. So I'm doing just fine into crypto. But yeah, so I think crypto is here to stay. But again, I think more than half of the altcoins go bust. So if it's not a place to. Lots of people are gambling, I guess is what I'm saying. But that doesn't mean crypto is a bad.
As far as altcoins, but I think like the big ones. I really like Ethereum. I really like Cardano.
I have some.
Yeah, right, because they're backed by something. Is my big thing, right? And so like you believe in it. I believe what they're backed by.
I have the big 3.
100% will go up. What do you have?
Yeah, I have the big 3. I have I have a collection now. So I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, I don't know, a couple more. Nothing big, but Bitcoin and Ethereum are no.
You don't have
so Bitcoin and Ethereum are 87% of my portfolio, 85 to 87%. So I already do enough in real estate. I know if I dove in, my real estate business would suffer. So I went into crypto, and I tell everybody, as an insurance policy. But a decade ago, I bought silver, right? I bought thousands of ounces of silver because I wanted just in case the dollar explodes. Well, now my 1% is a much bigger number. I guess I could physically, but I don't want to physically store that much silver. So I went after the digital, the digital gold, if they will, and I made a few bets. And yeah, I'm happy I did because I got in late last year, so it's been an okay investment.
Are you buying any gold and silver?
Not a lick.
How come? I don't buy any.
Because I'm not physical.
I don't really.
I only take physical receipt. I don't believe in the ETFs. I think they are just paper, and I don't believe in paper. Like on my desk somewhere, I have a kilo of silver as a reminder. I believe in owning the physical. Right? I have this kilo of silver I bought 10 years ago. I have a couple of these. But yeah, I believe in having the physical stuff. And it becomes a problem to store.
It really does. What's it called?
Yeah. I mean, if 1% of, I don't know, $1 million, 1% of a bigger number. I mean, it's a problem. And yeah, not for me.
So what YouTubers do you think you should trust? Those motherfuckers putting out all those scare tactic videos just to get clickbait. Which ones are the people who are legit?
I will say it this way:
putting out quality content.
If anybody puts out a 2021 crash video, you need to stop watching it. There's mathematically no way real estate can crash in 2021. The only thing that people were hanging their hats on was that all these foreclosures or REO were coming, which again, I have told you endlessly, mathematically can't happen because the foreclosure process can be 300 to 700 days. So by my math, that takes us out till next year. But even without that, that was the only hope they had. Now these banks are bending over backwards. That's a big thing that I forgot in the intro is there's a paper that was submitted by the government, Consumer Financial Protection Board, CFPB, that says, basically, bend over backwards or we're going to kick you in the ass. So there will be avoidable foreclosures. There will be 40-year mortgages. Anybody that's in forbearance, is going to get a workout. They're going to get a workout. They're not out. Yeah. They're going to stay in their homes.
Exactly. They're going to be able to do this.
Dude, it's going to be like rent control for owning a home. Right? What happens when you get a rent controlled apartment in New York or San Francisco? You never leave.
Ever.
That's what's going to happen. The people are going to be landlocked and they're not going to leave. It's going to have a huge unintended consequences in the future. But for today, you can write off foreclosures. I thought before highest was 20%. I thought 20% of the 4 million could go into foreclosure eventually.
Okay.
But now with thou shalt bend over backwards, thou shalt do everything we didn't do last time. I bet you it's more like 4 or 5% going to foreclosure. It's going to be a nothing burger. It's just like freaking nothing.
Yeah, I don't even pull them, really. I just don't see the reason someone would want to sell, right? Like, what's the reason? Like, why would I market to you? You keep that thing. No. You can keep it.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, there will be a time in the future where we can go after them and do some creative, subject to and things like that. Cause people will want to move. They will get divorced. But, that's years down the line. Because right now, the first couple of years of rent control, when you move into that 2-bedroom, 1-bath rent controlled apartment, it's like awesome. But eventually you have kids, you get married, and suddenly that rent controlled apartment becomes a hassle, but you can't move. So what do you try to do? You try to sublease it. You try to break. I mean, this is going to have so many unintended consequences. But again, that's a problem for another year. It's not 2021.
Okay. And let's talk about, is budget a dirty word? I think I'm not a fan of budgets. On my wholehearted opinion is make more money. I do think you need to have somewhat of a budget. My girlfriend is better than I am, but my whole focus is don't waste your mind space on a budget. No, okay. Have a small budget, right? Don't spend it and be to a T, because I know a bunch of just money mongers and that's all they do and they don't live any life. So there's one of our callers.
Well, here's the deal. I think there are 3. Yeah, I think I just hung up on him. I think there are 3 numbers we need to talk about, right? When you think about because your family is a financial statement, right? I'm an accountant. I see the world through a financial lens. And there are 3 numbers. The first number is what I call top line, right? A company would call it revenue. A person would call it income. Social media is full of top line.
Top line.
Every time I see a closing statement, I'm like, you motherfuckers are lying. That is not what you made. It doesn't include carrying costs, doesn't include repairs, there's so much shit. I mean, I can tell you with pretty good certainty, half of those closing statements are losses. They lost money when you add it all together. But of course, that doesn't play on social media, right? So again, social media is all about top line. That's only one of the three numbers. Then there's the budget mongers, the Dave Ramseys, the Susie Ormans that only do Millionaire Next Door. All I want to do is talk about expenses, right? Because it's top line, what you spend from taxes to insurance to home ownership to cars to strippers. I mean, whatever you want to spend money on, right, is the next one. Sometimes people want to just talk about cut those to the bone. Don't go to Starbucks. Don't do all of those things. I mean, that's one way to go. But is that a great quality of life?
Well, it doesn't
think
change
so.
anything. I don't think the Millionaire Next Door is still bringing value to the marketplace, and that's where his income is coming from.
Yes and no.
Your $100 Starbucks a year is bullshit.
Yes and no. Let's at least give it its respect. If you do North Starbucks for 40 years, you get some real numbers. If you don't do Starbucks for a year, it's like, it's a rounding error. It's like, that shit fell out of my pocket. I don't even know. But if you stay in this and you look back at 67, you're probably in a better financial position than someone who didn't do that. But I don't know about you. I don't want to wait till 67 to call myself a millionaire.
Dude. Right?
Dude,
exactly.
You're kidding. Exactly. So, but I want to give it the respect. If you want to go that path and you want to work 40 hours for 40 years and call yourself a millionaire at 65 and you're okay not going to Starbucks or other said things, we're in America. Go be you. You do you. Go for it. I am not here to judge. So with that one caveat, I want to give it the respect it deserves. If you want to sign up for 40 years of sacrifice and looking at every $5 latte, you be you. Go for it. But it's not the way to be a millionaire by 35 or 45. You can't save your way to being a millionaire early in life. The math is not on your side. And that's where I go to the most important number that nobody talks about. And that is what is called disposable income. I call them freedom dollars. It's the bottom line. Because the bottom line is impacted by both of the preceding numbers. You want to have a bigger bottom line? Go make more fucking revenue. Go make more income. You want to have a better bottom line? Cut your expenses. Or better yet, do both. Right? It is all about the bottom line. And again, just to be clear, what I call disposable income, I want you to, let's say you had $1,000 was your disposable income. And I mean this with every fire in my body. You could take that $1,000, light it on fire for warmth, and it would not impact your life at all. That's really what I call disposable income. And the reason disposable income is important is it gives you options. The bigger your disposable income every month, every quarter, every year allows you to invest in other things that produce more cash, produce more top line. It's a vicious circle that nobody talks about. In order to get better top line for most people as investors, it first starts with getting a decent disposable income. And then, right, it's earn, save, invest, repeat. Earn, save, invest, repeat. And it's the people that get that cycle down that kill it. So I wish we would talk more about disposable income. Because again, disposable income could come from earning more money. But the problem I have with just the mindset that some people come in just more money, is I've seen it. I've been around people that make $1 million a year. They changed their lifestyle. Their financial boat's got holes in it. And when they get more money, they drill goddamn more holes. Stop the madness. You put enough holes in your boat, you are going to sink. So that's why I think it is a combination of both. And I just wish people would talk about disposable income.
Boom.
Instead of flexing on statements that are crap. And, so that's where I'm at. I call it get your money right. I fully want you to earn as much money as you can. I fully believe in side hustles. I believe in all that stuff. But we got to start measuring your disposable income.
I hate the term side hustle. Because I feel
second
like
job, whatever you want to call it.
What's it called? I feel like it indicates a lack of focus, right? When people say they're doing wholesaling as their side hustle.
Ooh.
It indicates a lack of focus and something that you aren't in. And this is just me being an asshole, right? To where I'm just like, you need to treat this thing 100% as another business, not a quote unquote hustle. You need to go into it And
I see what you're
senses
getting
of
at.
the word of
I
like,
got
you're
you.
taking this shit seriously, because if you don't, I'm going to fucking bury you.
Oh,
And you're going to get fucking
yeah,
buried regardless, right? Because you're going through all this
yeah.
shit. And like, because don't get me wrong, right? I was at a mastermind a couple weeks ago, and the guy was a
That's interesting.
full-time lawyer. He
Yeah.
built a self-storage facility from the ground up, and he wholesaled.
Wow.
Right? That's a motherfucker who can side hustle, right? But not everybody
No
is this
joke.
guy. I was like, man, I need to pick my shit up. But like
Yeah.
these
No.
people
So
who
yeah, that's awesome.
go ahead.
No, I
Right.
think you're onto something. I think we need to. Because you're right. When I say side hustle, I think of what I've done, which not quite what your buddy's done, but again, I busted my ass like very few from 8 to 6 for 20 years. I made a shit ton of money, but I still built a one rental at a time portfolio because I focused every day for 20 years, and it worked. Right? I replaced that other income with that. But
Yeah.
I get what you're saying now, right? That there's a whole mindset that a side hustle, right? Like a side hustle is not a job, and because it's not a job, it doesn't have to be as like diligent. Absolutely not. You have to give your side hustle more focus, more energy, because you have less time, right? Think about what I'm telling you. I built this real estate portfolio over 20 years, looking at it every day, but I didn't have 7:30 to 6:30 at night. That time was committed to something else. And oh, by the way, I'm a guy that has to sleep 7 hours, or I'm a cranky son of a bitch. So I only had like a little window. Dude, I don't play. I looked every day for nearly 20 years and built the network and all the stuff that we've done because I gave it the time and focus it deserved. It wasn't a game for me. It wasn't a hobby. It was how we were going to get there. So yeah, maybe side hustle needs another name. I don't mind it being that thing you do on the side. So that word is okay, because I believe most people aren't you. Most people aren't naturally born entrepreneurs. Most of you aren't rich dad, right? There's a guy I interview on Mondays who one of the biggest aha moments I've had in all my years on YouTube. We both read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm like most people. I'm going, damn it, I want to be Robert and Kim. This motherfucker goes, no, dumbass, go be Rich Dad. I'm like, oh my God, I read the book wrong. I don't want, go be Rich Dad who has all these businesses. I'm like, shit, Stratton is Rich Dad, and I'm freaking Robert Kiyosaki and Kim buying little condos. I'm like, Stratton's got it figured out. This winning move thing is tight. So, yeah, man, I just realized that not everybody's an entrepreneur, and that has to be okay, right? You don't have to be an entrepreneur.
It has to be that way. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, but I think you need to. I mean, to create consistency, you just need some type of discipline in it. And I'm the number one person who's the most unorganized piece of shit ever. Right. And I at least now can afford, right? Know that I can afford to hire people to handle that stuff for me. But at the beginning, I would have done myself such a big favor if I would have put that stuff in place and been able to track stuff better, been able to do all those other things instead of like, oh yeah, this is just a hustle. I'm out there. And like, you think about the contractor who just fucking does shit. Like the guy's out there getting shit done, but there's no writing. Nobody knows what's going on, but the job is done. He's paid, and it's on to the next, and we got some money.
On to the next,
right?
Yeah.
To where you can't treat that as your side hustle. That's why I don't like the side hustle term.
Yeah, so I like side. I think it's the hustle we're both having a challenge with. Because hustle really, or you do like hustle. Oh,
well, I mean, you're hustling. Like you got to work your ass off. Again, this is me just being an asshole, and like the people who say this is my side hustle, I'm like, you're a piece of shit. Like it's
yeah, no, I got you.
Me getting irritated with what's it called? People's mannerisms and knowing they're not committed to doing shit.
Yeah, there's certain words that set us off. For me, it's calling me lucky. You want to really see me get mad? Call me lucky. Oh God, that pisses me off. So I get it. Why side hustle is like your trigger word. Because again, I think we see it all the time. I mean, there's a lot of people that try to get in this thing to make money and to be excited. And here's the problem. It could change your life. Most people don't understand there's a price to pay. And most people won't pay it. They just won't.
Well, I'd really, what's it called? There are so little people who get a significant amount done in about like 3 years, to where like you can really do something and you created something that you can let it turn off and you don't have to work again. Like, think about that. Like, there's very, very few people who can build up a portfolio of that size. And I'm talking about real estate entrepreneurship, all this stuff.
Businesses,
because even
anything,
it doesn't
Yeah.
work that way, bro. It is so hard. I lost my train of thought.
Well, let me
Like,
tell you.
that's-
Let me throw this at you. You have very high standards, very high goals for yourself. Let's remove that from the equation and let's talk about most people for a minute. This is what I believe the financial journey most people should start with. So I think there's 3 phases. And we'll start at the top. There's legacy wealth. That's the ultimate top, right? When you have made it to a point where you are doing multi-generational planning, that is the top.
got that.
Below that, yeah, exactly. Right. Not only are my kids good, but my kids' kids are good, right? Props. That's going to take some time. Below that is what I call financial freedom. That's like, hey, I got my monthly nut covered. I'm good. I have freedom. I can make choices. I can divest. I can do whatever I want. That's a step down, right? But this is the one I think you are not giving proper service to, which would help most folks out with. And that is a better financial future. I believe most people could have a better financial future with a side hustle producing $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever it is. It's not going to be enough to change their lives. It's not going to be enough to have them retire. But God damn it, Stratton,
different.
Let's celebrate having a better financial future. And again, the beauty of having those 3 steps is it always starts with acknowledging where you are. You're at a trailhead. You're looking at a big ass mountain that's Mount Everest. I can't think of a bigger mountain, whatever it is, Everest. And you have these little stations. It all looks scary. The first, I don't know what you call it, outlook, campsite is better financial future. And if that's all you ever do, I want to shake your hand. You don't have to get legacy wealth like Stratton. Stratton's got some goals that would make me scared, right? If you just have a better financial future, let's pat people on the back, but declare that shit early. Don't tell me you're going after legacy wealth and only put the time and energy in to have a better financial future. If you declare the proper effort and return, let's not judge that. That's okay.
I am one. So I'm number one. I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice, and the amount of hard work is not that much different. If that, like, so when we're talking about generational wealth, yes, like that's to where a lot of that is intelligence and know-how and network and really putting shit together, building businesses. Like you can't just do that in real estate. But when we talk about this side hustle, and then we get to like just push a little bit harder, like it's this much of a difference between that side hustle and building something that you can like let run, like it's there and you can take that breath.
I think that's fair. I think that's awesome. But again, if we want to really change people's life, let's get them to the first piece and then say, congratulations. Do you know that the effort you expended to get here is only incrementally more to go to the next one? Because you're already up on the mountain. You might as well go check out the other view.
Like, is it not just increment? I think it's truly incrementally more. If you train your brain to be that way, train yourself to think that way, and really work on yourself to get there. Like it is a self-work journey.
Oh, without question. I will say it this way. If you can get to a better financial future, you can get to financial freedom.
Right.
But see, I think sometimes the jump, if you're just sitting at the bottom of the trailhead and you skip the first outlook and you only talk about the second one, too many people chicken out, they make excuses, and they never get going. You and I should help people get going, because once momentum gets going, once you get your shoes worn in and you see what's going on and you get, oh my God, I made $1,000 and I can make my car payment on this other thing.
When you see what's
people
possible,
start to exactly. Some is good, more is better. Yeah. So let's encourage people to start the journey. Because I promise you, if they get to this point and they are now paying their rent with a side hustle, you bet your ass they're going to go, you know what? If I double down on this bitch, I could pay my car. I could get my kids' college set up. Fuck, let's go.
Right.
So that's what
I'll
think.
give you that. Well, I haven't, like I said, I always tell people, like, I never even thought about owning a jet until I talked to Alan, and then I realized like owning a jet was 100% possible. Right. And like, your mind starts to get expanded, and it's no longer at this point, it's not a dream. Like, I know it's real. Like, it's like something that I can physically achieve, and it'll just take time and then maneuvering some things to where a lot of these other people, like, it's not even there. They're just like, oh yeah, it's bullshit. Like, you can't even grasp the concept yet. You there, Mike? Did I lose you?
Hey man,
Well,
you
I
broke
lost
up
Mike.
a little bit there. You were talking about a jet in Allen.
Um,
Yep.
so I talked about the jet with Alan, about how for me, like I know people who are achieving really, really high things, and like for me, it's real, and I can grab that shit. Oh, Mike's gone. So while we wait back for Mike, I think it is. So for my thing, I just want it is so easy to be a high achiever. And the difference between excellence and being mediocre is like this much, right? Like it's this much. And if you just push yourself to achieve those next things, you are going to get that 100%, and your life is going to be a lot easier. And you're going to start to see that show in all aspects of your life, right? So you're working on this, and let's say you're cleaning your house, you're making your bed every day. That shows in your business, that will show in your life, that'll show in your personal relationships. And so as you work on that, it is going to get easier and easier and easier. And you're going to be, here he is. Nope. You're going to be right there to where you just got to work a little bit harder, or you just wait a little bit
Hello,
longer and you're
everyone.
going to achieve that goal.
I'm not even sure if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Stratton,
Can you hear me,
are
Mike?
you there?
I'm here, Mike. Can you hear me?
There he is.
All right, sweet.
I think. Oh, I can. I think.
Okay. So I was talking about like I know what's possible, and I've seen what's possible, and like I can grasp it and go. And I've surrounded myself with people who have achieved really, really high things. And so it's not a dream to me. To where
Yeah.
with a lot of these people, like it's not even in the realm of possibilities for them. And so it is like super discouraging to where they feel like they're chasing nothing. To where for me, I feel like I'm chasing something that is 100% attainable. Like if this fuck can do it, I for sure can do it. Right?
Yeah. No, again, Stratton, you have a gift. Your ability to seek, network is probably your greatest skill. It might be your superpower. And that allows
Thank
you to see possibilities that others can't. But if we are really trying to help people, I do think we need to appreciate that everybody doesn't have your superpower. And we need to encourage people to maybe take baby steps to steal a story that I hate from Dave Ramsey. But if we can think about, hey, if we can encourage people just to have a better financial future and to see that they could pay their rent or their car payment or their child care with a side hustle or whatever it's called in the future, dude, that's awesome. Why is that a bad thing? Just because not everybody can see rolling up in a private jet in a Benz or a Bentley.
Not
I
even
mean,
that.
not.
I just feel like everybody has it in them to be fucking awesome. Well, at least to like really, really push
I like
and
that.
be there. And like I'm
like that.
such a woo guy of like Bob Proctor, Law of Attraction. Like I'm into that shit. Pritchard's into that shit, right? To where it's shown in my life. But I think if you just think that way, you're going to achieve some really, really cool things. And I feel like you'd be doing yourself such a disservice if you don't, man, just shoot for the fucking stars. And then if you fall short, like cool, we fell short. And then, but for me, it's easy because I shot for the NFL. And I remember having to come to terms with myself of being like, hey, you didn't reach it because you didn't ball hard enough. And I had to sit there and think with that, right? And like, this is on me. I put everything I wanted into it. Legitimately, physically, I was not good enough. And I had to come to terms with that to where I did not force their hand. And I'm okay with that. But then I saw something completely through to saying like I'm pushing, working hard every day. I'm working harder than anybody else. I'm watching more film than anybody else, and then I don't get it. But like I was okay with it, like to where it had come to an end, and like this is what it is, and now it's on to the next thing.
Yeah. Well, just think about that. There's, again, this is your superpower, right? But again, you got to be careful when you have a superpower. You kind of intuitively think everybody should have it, and I'm here to tell you, most don't. So this is not meant to sound harsh. It's just the fact. Most people how many, I mean, just think about it. How many people do you think that are 15 years old that say, I want to play in the NFL like you did? Millions.
Oh, bro. Millions.
Tens of millions. How many of them are doing 5% of what you were doing way back then?
Oh, Nothing at all, right? And like put in the work.
Nothing. Almost nobody.
Yeah.
Right. Almost no one. And is there a secret to get in the NFL? Like, should you watch film? Should you exercise? Should you eat right? Like, is there some secret tattoo you got that allowed you to get a tryout with the Seahawks? No. The game plan's there, right? You have to have obviously some natural gifts and all that, but hard work's hard work for everyone, right?
Oh yeah. It is legitimately hard work. But okay, I'll take this to this self-belief. I was on the phone with my old strength coach. He's the head strength coach for the Bengals now. He is, again, a law of attraction woo-woo. His dad was an orphan. And so his dad raised him with that, right? Of like, if you work hard, you're going to do anything. This guy, when I was in college, was like, Stratton, you're going to be fine. Keep working your ass off. I promise you're going to be successful in life. Nice. And then a dude named DJ Reed was a walk-on. So he had no scholarship. This dude had the most fucking confidence I'd ever seen in my life. To where he's like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. He gets cut, leaves, goes to a junior college, All-American, goes to Kansas State, 2-time All-American, gets drafted in the 3rd round. And now he's playing for the Seahawks, and they're talking about like they can't lose this guy. And he is a average athlete, and to where it's like it's all up here. Like it's crazy. Like it's where the think of I can has propelled him to that. To where I have yet to meet anybody with that strong of I got this. Nobody's better than me. To where, like, if I can help people get that, I promise you're going to do a lot better.
So is that your goal? Is that what you want to do? You want to install? I mean, is that the goal of what you're trying to do with all these? Because you help lots of people, whether you know it or not. But what are you trying to do?
I mean, my podcast is 100% selfish for me to talk to Mike, and we record this now because we'd have the same conversation on the phone for 30 minutes anyways. Right. Yeah, and then all the same people I bring onto the show, it's easy for me to stroke their ego, bring them on my show, let them talk about themselves, and I get to dig in and be like, all right, so what'd you do to get here? Like, what are you doing now? What does that look like? Like, and so like this, it all helps me. It'll help other people along the way. But as like I've been thinking about this more, like I truly want to help people get a better financial future and help their mind to where I have some friends who just say, well, it must be nice to have money like that, or I can't because I'm broke. I'm like, number one, like we never say we're broke.
Never say you're broke. That's such a weak mindset. No, I totally agree. Totally agree.
So if I can help people with the mindset of what I have, 100% you have a better life of just working on everything. And the big thing for me, bro, like I have insane anxiety. I want to feel in control. You know what I'm saying? Like I want, if I can help people feel more in control and be in control of their life, their financial capabilities, whatever else, then I'm going to create a 100% better future for them. But yeah, so I mean, I do want to help people. I don't know what vehicle I'm going to use. I'll start doing like more solo podcasts of just talking about this is what I think you should do with your life, you piece of shit, right? But I don't know what I truly want to turn it into if I'm doing like a coaching thing or whatever. But I think these will help people too, right? Because not everybody's the same, because you have my end of the spectrum and then you have your end of the spectrum. And then someone's going to be in the middle. And I think what people, again, don't learn from you is that you're a badass fucking salesman, badass manager. You were a high producer and brought a shit ton of value to the marketplace, right? To where you were bringing tons of value, and then you started bringing rentals to really, number one, retire and then preserve your wealth. To where that's one thing people don't get is like, well, I'm working this shitty 9-to-5 job, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just like, well, like what value are you bringing this shitty 9-to-5 job? Like, what is your ceiling at this 9-to-5 job? What can you do to work up and make a lot more money at this 9-to-5 job? Like all these other things.
Yeah. So that's what I was talking about earlier. I'm glad we're going to get here. I get asked all the time, what would you do different? Right. And I get asked by guys like you that are entrepreneurs, right? You have that in you. That is Stratton Brown. That is Jason Pritchard. That is you guys. I don't have that. Whatever that is, that Don Costa, I would love to sit here and tell you if I had to do it all again, I'd graduate high school and I'd become a real estate entrepreneur. Fuck no. That is not what I would do. I would still go to college. This is my story. I would probably not get my master's degree, but I'd go get my undergrad. I would start selling software 4 or 5 years earlier. Why? It's because my gift is the ability to take something from $0 to $100 million in a couple of years And you know what? You make a shit ton of money fast doing that. And oh, by the way, right? What did I talk about earlier? Top line, middle, bottom line. I can generate my fastest path to top line revenue with commission-based sales, high pressure, 90-day cycles. You get fired if you don't produce. I can live, I grew up, I remember eating a baked potato a day for 30 days. I can live on nothing, right? And then I have a big old discretionary income, and I know how to learn a market. My side hustle was learning Fresno real estate, and I would go buy every great deal I could. That's just how I would do it. And I would be done by the time I'm 30. That's my journey if I had to do it all over again. I still have a 9 to 5. So why did I bring this up? I don't know what the percentage is, but it's probably 80, maybe 75% of people have a 9 to 5 job and hate it. You know what? If you want to become, again, right, better financial future, financial freedom, legacy wealth, go figure out how you can add value, be the best at whatever it is. I recommend, if you can stomach extreme pressure, go get a commission-based job. I made this much money hourly and this much money on commission and this much money when I blew it out. Right? If you are good at what you do, and oh, by the way, if you can lead teams and really get good, you can do some amazing things. So my journey starting over, get a high school diploma, graduate college, start selling 5 or 6 years earlier, become insanely good at that, live on very little. Don't get the second car, the third car, the second home. Just be modest, bank all that cash, and be done by the time I'm 30 instead of 45. That would be my journey if I could do it again.
I have a bunch of people come to me who want to get into wholesaling, and I tell them to go do solar sales. Like, what do you want to be an entrepreneur? Or you want to make more money? Like, you can make a god awful lot of money selling solar. Like,
exactly.
A ton of money, right? Like, so what do you truly want? Do you want to get into real estate? Do you want to make more money? Do you want to get in and like buy rentals? Like, what is it, right? Because wholesaling is a beast that you're just creating a new job for yourself that you're never going to get out of, right?
They get excited by the top line number. It's the top. Back to that 3 stories, right? That they're watching social media, watching people flex, showing stacks or checks, not realizing what goes into that. And again, the fact that most of those people lose money.
Well, it is a great, don't get me wrong, it is a great cash machine.
It can be.
It's still good to make money, but do you want to buy rentals? Like, I have a friend who's doing solar who wanted to do wholesaling. I was like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Just go triple down on solar. Like, the check size is not that much different. Triple down on that and then buy rentals in Burr.
Exactly.
And then
you know what I'm saying? Show me the plan. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm not that big of a fan of that, to where a lot of people are like, oh, I want to get into wholesaling. I've always wanted to get into real estate, blah, 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 to where there are a lot of occupations that you can bring value to the marketplace, to where you can make more money, have less overhead, less headache, have to worry about this fucking nut going out every month of X amount that you have to cover, to when there are not deals coming in, right? So with the salesman, at least you don't have money going out on top of your monthly living expenses. You have all those marketing expenses going out. Yeah. So yeah, that is one thing I think people don't really realize. Like, I can go get a really amazing job. You can go get a commission-based job and do whatever the hell you want. And a lot of people don't care as long as you produce.
Yeah, dude, I hired thousands of salespeople over the years. I don't care if you're green, yellow, purple, polka dot, 4 leg. I mean, I don't care. You bring home the number, I can put up a lot of shit if you bring in the number.
Right. I don't care if you make 1 phone call a day, all quarter. If you bring in the number, bro, you brought in the number. Good on you. Don't care.
Bud. We do our QBR, stands for quarterly business review, and I don't get it. Never says how you got that number. Everybody gets up and we freaking undress people all the time. Quarterly business reviews, the most painful experience for reps. And we never asked how many phone calls they made. I know there were reps that played golf 4 days a week. Brought in the number. I don't care. I don't care.
Exactly. All right. Let's wrap it up with this. We'll save some for next week too. I love these.
Yeah.
You got any parting words?
Parting words?
Parting words. And what's it called? Shout out your course, bro. I think more people need your course. I have a bunch of people come to me and I send them to your channel who are like those 9 to 5 people. They want to get into real estate. I'm like, bro, I'm not the person you need advice from. I'm taking so many risks all the time and putting myself in awful financial situations. You need to go to like this guy who's much more been in your position.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. So I have 2 courses. The one that has over almost 1,500 people now is how to get started 1 rental at a time. It's exactly step by step what I did to learn a market that I've never lived in, never spent the night in 20 years ago. It's so awesome because students are doing deals and I report on them every week. It is truly a joy. And then I just released a course called How to Get Your Money Right. Back to those 3 numbers, because I think all numbers are important, but I see too many people in the middle drilling holes into their boat, letting their lifestyle creep to their income. And you're not going to get very far doing that. So those are the 2 courses. What I would tell you in closing is my goals is to help more and more people have a better financial future. And then I will meet you on that ledge and we'll talk if you want to get to financial freedom. I'm not going to judge you. If you get to that ledge and you're cool working 40 hours for 40 years and having a little money come in to take care of your mortgage, I'm not going to judge you. I will tell you it's only a little bit more to get to the next level. But I'm not going to judge you. If you're done, you're cool, you got your 4 rentals and you're all good, by all means, man, enjoy life. You only get one trip. But yeah, and then if you want to go further up to financial freedom, great. And, if you want to go one step further to legacy wealth, I'm not there yet, but I know lots of people that I can introduce you to to get you to legacy wealth. So, dude, more people need a better financial future. And I think if this channel and you can help people, it'll just come back to you in so many different ways. I think you're doing some pretty good things on this Winning Move podcast.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Mike. I will talk to you next week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to go subscribe on all the podcast platforms and give us a 5-star review. And if you guys are looking for any type of virtual staffing, go to callmagicians.com and they will take care of you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.